Hey guys, welcome to my channel, welcome to another video, another chapter working on this guy right there. That's our M1A1 Abrams by Tamiya. We'll run the intro and we'll get into it. Well guys, having just spent an hour working on this thing and realizing, once again, no recording. I'm not sure. I know this time I actually did hit the record button, and I don't know what happened because it started recording, and then by the time I was done, I looked at it and it's not recording at all. So it must have just stopped on its own, and so I got absolutely no footage of what I've done in the last hour. So this is going to be a little recap real quickly. Going through, looking at the first one. I'll change the camera at least and you can see. The next step after getting this put together, we get our mine plow put together. You put our two pieces on. These two little guys are supposed to be movable. Once you get them in, they hinge on this spot there, and those are done. Okay. Obviously I need to do some touch up on my orange paint because I painted the wrong sides of these, but these should be movable like this, and you can lock them down with our little hook at the bottom here like this. You can do that and lock them in, doink, and now it doesn't go anywhere, right? It stays. Well, this guy will flop down, right? So you can do that, get them locked in. You put your little vinyl hose on a tiny little nub that's right in there. So you just push that down in there. I use tweezers to do that and get that on there, and that's done. Again, you see my lighter colored orange. We need to do better painting and get some universals color on that. I need to buy some more orange. I'm actually just run out, so I need to buy another jar of orange. Anyway, so that's our mine plow, at least this part of it anyway. They call this a skid arms. So yeah, that's that. Okay. Then moving on, we have to the assembly of the wheels. Basically A10 and A3, you're going to make two of those, and that's these guys here. You take your poly caps and you put them in there. Your poly caps, of course, are these guys here. You put the shorter ones in there. You get a whole bunch of them. You put them in between. Put your two wheels together. Obviously I did a little bit of painting so that on the tires, so that on the inside, so save myself some hassle of trying to get in there. So you make two of these versions. You make 14 of these versions, which have the little flat. This one's flat, this one's sticking up a little bit, but it's still A3 is the same wheel on these. Okay, so you do a bunch of those, and then you make two drive sprockets. Same thing, same poly caps. You just put a poly cap in between, put the two together, and then you do that twice, and you've got two drive sprockets. Okay, and that's that. Then we do a bunch of parts on the lower hull. The two long poly caps that are on the big sprue of poly caps, they're right there. You just press them onto these two pegs. I don't press them on all the way down. You could take them off, you know, kind of wiggle it around, and you can pull them off right there. You got a peg there, right? You just take this and press it down over top, just like that. Done. Okay. You get your two main idler, front idler wheels that are going to go on the front. This just pushes through and glues in just like that. You got a couple of pieces A14 that goes on the sides, and then your wheel goes on. That's A12. This is A13 and A14 with a little bracket. You got your drive axles, as I call them. They go in from the they just go in. You push them on the outside like that, and I just glued them in. And then you have your B44 gets mounted on there with B70 and 71 like that. Your two lights, they are lefts and rights. You can see that little slot there and a little slot there for that. See that? Then a couple of little kibble bits. Flip our page. Tow hooks and things like that go on the back of it here and here with a couple little brackets. We've got the actual hitch that goes on there. The back is on there. We've got the assembly of our auxiliary power unit. That's this guy here. It's really simple that how it goes together. It's not really hard to screw it up. We do have a hole in the back here for the light as this gets mounted right here, and that goes like that. But as you can tell, I don't have this painted orange, so I need to paint this orange in there first, and same with the back of this. Before I assemble it, I need to have that painted. Otherwise you're going to see the white primer in there in behind. I'm not going to be able to get in there with the airbrush, so I need to do that before assembly. And that's where we've left it for today. And next is going to be the upper hull, but I'm going to work on that next time. So yeah, that's just a little recap. That's just a little recap of what I got done in the last hour, and didn't record a minute of it apparently. So anyway, we'll be right back, and we'll get to working on the upper hull. All right.
Later.
Hey guys, I'm back. Yeah. So I took a couple of hours away from the desk and ran off to the hobby store. Got myself about $60 worth of paints, and well, a lot more than just this one, but yeah. As I've discovered in opening this up and having a look, this is to me is LP51 pure orange, and it's actually a little bit darker than the orange that I was using. So I basically resprayed everything. Here's a good example. As you can see, there's the color I had been spraying. This almost looks yellow on the camera, and there's the pure orange, much darker, right? So yeah, of course I didn't bother with this one because that's going to go against our, this is going to wind up being right up against here like this, and you're not really going to see it anywhere, even with the tracks on. If you try and look underneath, you're not really going to see. That's going to go on like this kind of thing, sit there basically, something like that, right? Yeah, so anyway, repainted all the wheels. I repainted this guy. He's now all one color, nice and uniform, looking much better. I repainted the what do they call this, the auxiliary power unit. I painted the back side of it also. Kind of redid some touch up on the hull a little bit, and I painted the back of this a little bit too, especially in here. So there we go, that's where we're at. So with that all done, I could glue the power unit on there now. That can go on there like this. That's going to do that, and then we'll start working on the upper hull. Okay, so I'll change the camera. Let's get started on this. Okay, so where we left off, we've got this to go on here like so, and so I'm going to glue that guy on there, kind of like that. Okay, so put a little bit of glue on these little points, and she'll be in her new home. All right, let's just do this real quick. Bing, bing, bing. There we go. So some glue on here, here, there, and there we go. Okay, auxiliary power unit is installed, just like that. Nice and simple. All right. That's a funny looking tail light. Yeah, whatever. It is what it is. Oops. Careful. 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 Okay, we're going to let that dry, and we're going to work on our upper hull. All right. So, grabbing our upper hull, nice and white. Obviously, I have not painted this orange yet. We got to grab some parts. Looks off of our A tree and our B tree. So, where are we here? We got B. Looks like B 64, 63. Let's just call this driver's hatch. They don't have a... I'm guessing this is supposed to be B49. This here, they don't show you what number it is. Oh, over here on this side. They show you putting the transparent parts in for our windows. We're not going to do that yet because I'm not ready for that. So B49. This guy here. Let's just clean up our nubs. It's going to go in like this. Just sit in there like that. Now, of course, if you're doing some kind of diorama, you could have this out like this, you know, and have that set aside so that you get the drivers, you know, drivers exited, but of course you got no interior, so it looks going to look kind of dumb. So I'm going to glue it from the back here. It's my extra thin. Okay, there we go. He's now in his permanent new home. I'm guessing this little channel is for our little vinyl hose. It's supposed to go in there. Okay, so we're gonna grab, I guess we'll do our headlights, A5, off of the A tree. That's E, where's A? Where's my A? That's D. B, A, two A's, A5, and our little headlights here. I did not paint these any darker, so, but that's okay. I'm going to be careful exactly where. Shut up, fire engine. There we go. There's one. And two. There we go. So these guys they go in the same orientation. They're going to go in these two square holes here. And just sit like that. You're supposed to stick to the part, not my finger. There. There we go, there's one. This guy goes in there. Why do they want to stick to my finger so bad? There. There we go. Our tank has headlights now. Just like that. Pair of headlights. Okay, so with that done, we got to get B9. Looks like a couple of tow hooks. B9 and B10. Going to go in right beside them. B tree. B9 and 10 are right here. So let's do 9 first. This guy here. And then 10 we're going to put over here. Okay. 10, 9. Okay. A bit of a nub right there. We're just going to clean that off. Make that smooth. So it goes with our the big hook towards the back. And it just kind of goes in that little spot right there. Looks like it's just going to sit right in here. Like that. Okay. All right. Clean that up. Put him into this spot. My headlight's a little bit crooked there. There we go. There we go. We've got our two tow hooks in. And then we've got to get B63 and 64. It looks like they're they almost look like guards that go over the lights or something like that. Let's look at B64. B64 and 63, but we'll do 64 first here. Okay, 64. It's nice of them to put the nub on the underside of it. And then this, it looks like it just kind of sits like this. Yeah. Push that down into its little slot. So the hole for it doesn't go all the way through. And although the peg is a little bit of an angle, it just sits like that. Okay. This is kind of like a headlight guard, I'll say, for lack of a better term. Kind of like that. So we'll grab 63 now. Okay. And we'll do the same thing with this guy. Get him in that little spot. Kind of sitting in there. Put a little glue. Just to help convince it in there. It does sit a little bit forward, which is why it looks a little strange when you first put it in there. They're not supposed to sit straight up and down. They actually sit a little bit like this. Just a little bit. There we go. Okay, so now they're both on there. Just like that. Okay. So that's that. That's all these pieces in the front here. Okay. So we got to grab B21, this guy here. He's going to go on right there. It's obviously a grab handle of some sort. Let's see where he is. Right there, B21. There we go. Sure Uncle Night Shift would get rid of these and make his own out of brass wire for more scale, realistic appearance. I do not have his skill at all, comes to this stuff. So I'm not even going to try that. So this guy, he goes into these two holes here. Nice and simple. Nice to me a fit. I do like the fact that there is a hard molded thing right here that's going to protect it so I don't accidentally knock this thing off while I'm maneuvering and stuff. So that's that. Okay, that's this part. And we're going to move over to the rear. It looks like we're inside underneath. So we need B34 and B69. 34 and 69. 34 right here. See, this is on the inside, so I painted this for literally no reason. 34. And we need 69. 53, 67, 68. We get to 68 and that's it. There's 59. 58. Where is 69? 69 way over here for no... Why? Why 69 way over here, right beside 1 and 2, 3, 4, like 5? Why couldn't they do 1, 2, 3? That is weird. Weird. It's also kind of weird that they have this as a separate piece going into this little slot here. They show you here to paint a little spot on it. It's just going to sit right into this little channel right here. There's a little guide. I guess it's supposed to go like this. Like they literally could have just molded it like that. Like why is this a separate piece to install? No rhyme or reason to this, why that's a separate piece. Make sure she's flat and flush. Okay, so our little separate piece is in. Actually, you want to make sure it's lined up. Nice and straight. There we go. A little bottom line should be straight across here. There we go. Okay, now we have this guy. This guy, 2 holes for 2 pegs. It is subtle, but one is bigger than the other. This is a larger one than this one, so that you don't put this on backwards. That's the way it's supposed to go. This way will not fit. Doesn't go. So thank you very much, Tamia. It's going to go like that. Okay. I'm going to clean up my nubs, not because I'm worried about it being pretty, but because I want to make sure it fits. Get a little bit of flashing. I don't know if there's anything going to conflict in there, so it's going to go like that. So bunch of glue on here, just like that, and just like that. That's installed and done. I guess this is something's gonna tuck in underneath there when I think when you put this on the lower hull, this is gonna tuck in and then go down, and these 2 pegs are gonna go on those poly caps that are on the front of the hull. So my guess is this little tab is going to tuck in under there, and then this is going to line up on the front are 2 little pegs. So you're going to tuck it in there and then push down. Eventually. Okay, that's it for this page. I'm not doing the clear things, not doing our windows yet. I'm going to wait until this thing is, I'm going to got this painted. I'm not going to glue this down before it's painted. Speaking of painting, I am going to be doing it all in this color, the LP51, do all that. I'm going to do a top coat over top of that as a highlight coat. This stuff here, TS96 fluorescent orange. That's going to be a nice top coat and brighten up the pure orange. I'll basically just do it over the top surface and not down the sides, so that there'll actually be a little bit of that fluorescent orange that my dad asked for. He wanted this thing fluorescent orange, which is why this thing's going to be orange. It's not because I want it, it's because that's what my dad wants. This is a commissioned build, although it's for free. It's a commissioned build by my dad. He wants an orange tank. Okay, so with all that being said, we've got our side skirts, and they want us to put this on. Now, I literally just glued this, as you saw, so I don't want to actually put it on yet. I want to see how plausible it is for me to put the side skirts on the sides without actually having it attached to the lower hull. I want to see if we can do this. We've got to get B41 and B24, and obviously B35. We've got to get our big side skirts out here. Let's just put this over here, get our side skirts off of here and cleaned up nice. And we need B35. I believe I painted it. Yeah, this one here. Okay, let's clean these up. I painted this one because at the time when I was first starting to paint all the parts on the sprue, I had no idea where that was going to go. And so I didn't know if it was going to be tucked in behind something or covering something. I just needed to make sure. I'm thinking what would be good is to paint the inside, primer the inside of this black, just to hide everything. Because I don't want it this bright color, I don't want it white. That would be a mistake, I think. Okay. So I already know that these are going to go on there. We've got a nice rail, nice guide rail right here to line it up. It doesn't go all the way, but where we don't have this rail, we have a little notch. It's going to line up with that. So we do have it and we don't. So let's line up this where it's supposed to go. You can kind of, here we go. So that's how this is supposed to go. It's just like that. Just like that. I think as long as I make sure it's at 90 degrees, I can glue this on like this and not have to worry about it. And just kind of leave it like that. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to get some tape, and I'm just going to tape it in a couple of spots just to help me out here. Some nice helping tape. Nice flat spot here. That'll be good. And then I'll put one back here too. Which I might as well get ready for the other side. So once I've got one rail on there, or one skirt, I'm not going to have the luxury of picking it up and manhandling it very much. Okay, so going back to this one, hold this up here, line that up. It's going to sit. Just trying to get it lined up here, right there. The tape is just a very primitive help keep it there, so I don't have to keep my hands on it to hold it. The tape is really just to help the glue do its thing. I do have it, as you can see, straight up and down. That's what I want. It's 90 degrees. There we go. So I'm just kind of holding it to give it a little bit of pressure to hold it against here and let the glue do its thing. Okay. I'll just let that cure for a minute here. It's nice that they've given us that little bit of a rail for it to sit on along the back here, because this little railing, this guide here helps keep it at 90 degrees in relation to the hull. So that is a nice little thing. This one has the exact same kind of situation going on. So we'll just line up. I'm just lining it up as far as how far towards the back. This little tab is our guide right there, right into this little notch. Okay, that's where it goes. It's right there, just like that. And with it like that, there we go. This is where I get this one taped. Front. There we go. Similar fashion. Whoops. You're not supposed to do that. Okay. Looking good. Just kind of hold. Why are we frozen? There we go. Holding it with my finger like that too to keep it straight up and down. And we'll start with the glue. All along underneath that rail. And then at the front here, we're going to have to push it in and hold it there like this, just for a minute. smallest little gap there. That's perfect. Okay, once again, I'm just going to hold it here at the front. Whoops. Or I'm going to knock it on my own hand. This front edge just wants to kind of separate a little bit, a very tiny little gap, but just hold it here for a second, let that glue cure, and then she'll hold. Maybe more than a second. A few seconds. If it doesn't want to hold, I can always put a little bit of tape around here too. Don't think I'm going to need to. It kind of wants to separate, so yeah, I'm going to put a little tape on there. She wants to just kind of break free, so I'm just going to hold it on the tape like that. There we go, so the tape's going to hold it there. This side, it wants to separate too, just a little tiny bit, so I'll get a piece of tape there. I thought I had held this side long enough. Obviously I did not. So, piece of tape there, and just press as we put the tape, and I'll put a little bit more glue on there, just to help this front edge, this corner, just to help that stay. And you too, you get a little bit more too, just to help that out. There's enough glue that it's going to hold. Got a little bit of glue seeping out right here. But that's okay. We got a little bit of a gap. It's basically what we've got going on here is a gap. But it's not a huge gap, it's acting like a panel line. It kind of tells you, hey, these are separate panels. Anyway, as you can see, I got them pretty straight up and down, right? They kind of go on their own, and yeah, we let that cure and she's going to be fine. Okay, we have this guy. I may have blocked it with the tape, but he's got to go in here, and so he is supposed to go kind of right over this spot here, like this. That's where his home is. It's kind of like this. Just like that. So we can give him the glue. Get him in his home. Give him a little push on there. Get him solidified in his home. Just like that. A little bit of excess. There we go. So that's in. Okay, that's the B35. Alright. It's funny that they show the tracks in there already, and they say here, refer to page 11 for the track assembly. So since we've got to let this dry because we're just going to be in a big bunch of trouble, like I already am here with our headlight guards being pushed around, to re-glue this one. Just hold that in its place for a moment here. There we go. Okay, so we're going to put this aside. We're going to let this all dry. I'm going to put it on, I'm actually going to put it, what am I going to do with it? I'm going to set it on a couple of cans of paint. Okay, like this. Okay. Alright, so because I want to flip it over and when they want to install, hold the thing on with cellophane tape. Why? Why not just glue it in? Anyway, I want to deal with the tracks because I've got one pair of tracks assembled. So we're going to flip ahead. We're going to go to the track assembly. Where is it? Right here. This is basically the last little tidbits of the kit, but they show you right here on how to assemble the track. Okay? I've already assembled one. And one special tool you're going to need. You're going to need fire. Fire. You're going to need this. Okay? I've already got this one assembled and I just got it holding with clips because I can. Yeah, because I can. It's very simple, right? This is how you assemble Tamiya's rubber tracks. First of all, you get rid of your little extra garbage on the end here. Okay? Get rid of that. Tamiya's rubber tracks are held in with these little pegs, and you bring it around and they go through these little holes. In my experience, there's been times where these pegs really don't want to fit through the holes, and other times when they do. Now, the track goes like this, and I have this one. I actually have this one inside out. This is actually, I think it is, yes, because the pads are supposed to go out. So this, we gotta just flip like this, and done, okay? Now, unfortunately, this particular technique, it leaves your pads looking a little worse for wear, but that's okay. We just hide those up underneath the skirts, right? That's all right. That's what we do. So, these go in here like this. As long as you don't have any extra flash or anything like that, these should push through like so. Okay, so those are pushed through now. So now how do you keep them like that? Well, I'll show you. I'm going to use my clips just to hold them like this and this, just so I can hold it and I know exactly where they are, and it puts weight on them so the track doesn't go anywhere on me. And I'm going to grab my little flathead screwdriver. Okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to heat this up, and then I'm going to melt down these pins a little bit. Okay, so heat this up. You don't need it crazy hot, but you need it hot. You need it hot enough to melt. And then I just kind of press down and kind of smear it a little bit. Like that. Okay? Do it on all four of them. Press it down and make a little bit of a goo. Press this one down and smear it. Okay. If you get a little bit of rubber on your screwdriver, it might light up on fire on you. That's okay, don't panic. Press this down, smear it. There we go. And that's it. So, You might get a little bit of rubber residue on your screwdriver. That's okay. Take a file or sandpaper or something like that and just scrape it off. And that's good. Careful, don't touch this. I mean, that's hot now. That's hot. It's warm all the way up to here, so that's definitely hot, right? I can touch it and I'm not burning myself, but if I were to grab it, I'm going to let go real quick because she is hot. It is metal that I just had under fire after all. Okay, so that's basically got a permanent hold now, but when you let go of here, you might see the gap on the sides, and I was having a bit of an issue on the other ones, which is why I was using the clamps, because I wound up having to glue the sides together to get them to stay. This side is held together a lot better than the other side did, and so we're good. This is going to hold now, and it's not going to come apart. You could put some glue in there if you're getting some weird, see where it joins, you get a little bit of a kink, right? It wants to kink, but of course those 4 pins are not letting it go anywhere. But it does want to kink because of the nature of it actually having a link there, a separation. But it's not bad, it's not bad. I've got a funny little pin here. That's a weird, there's nothing here, but I got a little bump in my track. Right above my finger there, there's a little bump. It's weird. It's okay, it'll be hidden underneath there so it won't even see it. So that's that. So I wanted to show you guys that. That's how we do the tracks and get those assembled. Okay. So let's go back. The plow blades. We're going to start on these. Off of our E-trees. E-trees, that's everything's orange on this one. So we're going to start with number 30. We're going to do this twice basically, but start with number 30. And we need 25. This guy here. 25, and we want 19. It's 24, here's 19. These two guys that are held together with a sprue. Don't need that, that's garbage. 19. Okay. It is unfortunate that they put a sprue right on the top of it here, so you got to clean that up. Clean the back side of these. Obviously couldn't get at the back side very well with the paint, hence the lighter orange color. That's okay, we've got all kinds of little funky little things going on here. Of course, everywhere we've got a nub to clean, that's going to cause a spot that needs paint. Okay, let's do E19 first. That goes into that little slot. He's going to go in right there. Don't think it makes any difference which way it goes. But I do have to clean up the nub to make sure he sits flush. So on this guy, you got to clean up the nub on both ends. Make sure it sits flush for you. Okay. So I'll just do that. A little bit of glue on the bottom of them. And there we go. That's his home. Now this guy. He's got to go down with our little hinges up. He sits on the forks like this, and he just sits there. I guess so. Looks like I did a whole lot of painting for nothing. It's got a couple of little, oops, careful. It's got a couple of little buttons on the bottom of them here to help guide you where it goes in between all of these forks, to make sure it's locked in. You can see the little button inside there and down in this corner. It's like that. Maybe you can't, but I can. And it just sits flush, nice and flat on the sides. So I'll get some glue on the underside so that I don't have glue sticking out. I won't put it on every fork, but enough of them that it's going to hold pretty solid. Just make sure it's flush and flat on each one. And there's that one. I got a nub to clean there. There we go. Okay. A little bit of flashing on the tips of these forks. I suppose this kind of stuff is where, whoops, the fact that it's a mold from 1982 is a little bit evident in the fact we've got some flashing on these and some parting seams, which you don't see in, you just don't get this in, you don't get that in a modern Tamiya kit. Which is why Tamiya is kind of the standard by which we measure all other model kits, right? Because of their quality these days. But back in '82, yeah, they weren't the best. I mean, they were still higher than a lot of other brands out there back in the early 80s. Okay, so there's the right side. Okay, done. A little bit of touch-up paint required, but that's okay, we'll get to it. Next side, we're going to do the left. Eat basically everything the same, just on the other side. We'll do these, then we'll let it all dry, and we'll color a day. Okay. This one, and we need our other number 19. There we go. To address anything. See, this one has no flashing at all. This still has a little bit of parting seam on each one, but it's not that noticeable. Not like the other one was. These parting lines are pretty tame. They're pretty tame. Just to give them a little scrape to even them out. There we go. Okay, that's clean. All right. So just like the other side, a little bit of glue on the bottom of that. Him in his home, just like so, and then this guy's going to go on here. Get him the right way around, and just kind of falls into a spot, just like that. Perfect. So just like the other side, I won't put it on every fork, but get it in a couple of different spots just for make sure it's going to be held good. There we go. And that's it. And that's that side. So there's our two sides. Bingo. Okay. And that is it for this page because we're not putting our plow on yet. Right? The plow basically is going to go on the bottom of the hull in here. They're saying tape it in. They want it taped in somewhere here. They want it like this. I guess you just line it up like this. Okay, yeah. This little peg here and here on this side, you line them up with our little anchors here and here. Line those up like that, and that's where this goes. Just like that. Just like that. Okay. So you just line those up. See where I'm lining them up with that little peg there? Bing. Just like that. Now, of course, they're saying just hold it on with tape for now. If I'm holding it on with tape, why am I even holding it on? It's basically my question to them. Why not glue it if I'm going to go this far? If I'm going this far by putting it on, I should just glue it. But, which is why I'm not putting it on right now. But that's how it's going to go. And obviously, you got to put this on after we've got it all together, because how are you going to get this in there with that in the way? Right? That's going to interfere. So don't glue this on yet. That's going to be later. Let's just flip the page and see what is next. Halfway through the manual already, and it's just more plow stuff, but that's more plow stuff we're going to do next time. Okay? We're going to do this all next time. Okay? We'll work on that then. That's going to be it for today, guys. I want to thank you for watching. Thanks for coming out. I know the orange color is a weird thing to do on a tank. I get it. I really do, honestly. But like I said before, this is my dad's request. And so I'm doing it for him. And that's why. That is the sole reason why I'm painting an orange tank. Why I'm doing an orange Abrams. It's because he wants some color on his shelf. Nice and simple, right? Good enough. That's all I need, is that he wants it. So, with that, we're going to continue this next time, guys. I want to thank you for watching. Thanks for the support and the comments. Please hit that like button if you like this stuff. And over there, you're going to see that subscribe down there. I really appreciate it if you hit the subscribe button. Help me out too. And yeah, so I guess we will see you all in the next one.